Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies. We take your comments and questions live and incorporate them throughout the broadcast, and we look to go spiritually guided, as guided, that true north, that soul source connection. So we have a very beautiful theme today, which I think most of you will enjoy and will be applicable for your lives and so forth. So, and as you know, throughout the broadcast, put your hello in the comments. Let us know where you're joining from so that we're able to see you and say hello. So let's jump in with last week because they're a little bit connected here. We have this beautiful revolution. This was last week, revolution, renewal through reinvention. And there was this whole add the RE in front of everything. And that is really quite powerful. As you know, last week I was in Mount Shasta. I was in a structure that was originally, welcome Brigitte, wonderful to have you with us. And I was in a building that had been constructed in 1923. And the point of this adding, we're just revisiting. See, it's Mercury retrograde. It goes direct on Sunday, this coming Sunday. But this revisit, repurpose, revitalize, reinvent, revisit. And so we're revisiting this just for a moment at the top of the hour because there was this and this is going to be applicable, this is why I'm bringing it up. Our individual selves, our individual humans, our humans are going to be reinvented, revitalized, renewed. And it's like that 1923 building that what they did is, they didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And we've been talking about this with the patriarchy, right? The divine masculine, and you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We take, and like the owners that purchased this building from 1923 and brought it back to life. The brilliance of what they did was they took the very best. They retained the original essence, the original era of the building, of the structure. They kept the beautiful hardwood floors, original 100-year-old floors. They took the original doors that were the room doors and placed them inside as the bathroom doors. And then they brought everything current in the most beautiful, synergistic, artful way. So what they did was they melded the antique of it, the originality of it, with the contemporariness of the time and the luxury and the features and so forth. And there was this beautiful harmonizing, this beautiful blending of these elements. And that analogy, I'm just revisiting this at the top of the hour for this week before we jump into, this is the epitome of the example of what we will experience as with our own human selves, is this revitalization, this renewal, this reinvention, where we take the very best, we retain the very best of the original, of this Piscean, patriarchal, divine masculine era. And then, like with the Temperance card, Archangel Michael, using the Soma, the unseen, our soul source connection. And, on the card in the tarot, he has 2 cups and he's pouring them back and forth. He's making something new. He's making something specific for each of us. And so this will be with the divine feminine, matriarchal, divine feminine, this harmonizing and balancing, and yet this evolutionary process, this advancement. And this is how we will reinvent ourselves with this, keeping the best of the previous and adding to all of the new. And in order for us to do that, remember, this is actionary on our part as well. We meet them together. We meet the unseen and ourselves. They come together. And so there's choices involved in terms of, again, how rapidly do we surrender? How rapidly do we advance? What are the choices? My little great nephew, 4 years old, and he said there's green choices and red choices. Red choices are bad. Green choices are good. And so there's this beauty that he, at 4 years old, is learning the power and the empowerment of making good choices, green choices. And so this is what's on tap. So let's move into, and hello, Lorna, welcome, and hello, Kelly Marie. Again, just put a shout out in the comments as you're joining, and let me know how this is speaking to you, this blending and harmonizing, this matriarchal rule that we're entering into, and how we're to retain the very best of ourselves. We're to retain the very best of the time, of the era. And then with great reverence, respect, grace, release the old, release what doesn't serve us, release the shadow elements. And here's Pluto moving into Aquarius. It retrograded on Monday. I'll show you that in a minute. And because it's bringing up everything from that era that didn't see the sunlight. When things are in the light, it's very apparent. It's very transparent. The truth speaks for itself. It goes into the past. Lies, they continue to be a part of your future because they're being perpetuated. Well, Pluto, representing the underworld, is bringing to light everything of this era that wasn't potentially seen or was masked or hidden, and it's painful. It's painful to see the very least of us, the shadow side of us, the things that have been, in the back room, and all of these ways that the shadowy elements of ourselves, of humanity, of governments, companies. So for all of the LinkedIn listeners, remember, as companies, corporations, governments, institutions are people. They're operated and governed, and they exist because people are within them, a part of them, behind them. So all of this is applicable, whether it's personal or professional, it's applicable because we're looking at what has and has not worked and what led us there. And as we move into the matriarchal era, the era, age of Aquarius, pardon me, a little bit tongue-tied. I've just come off of 18 hours of driving and in my evolution. So you can see, so bear with me a little bit. I feel like I'm jet lagged, and it's just because I've driven 18 hours. So anyways, moving along, let's look at this week's topic. And I love this image. The overall energies, the topic is coming full circle, ready to advance. And look at just the brilliance and the beauty of this turquoise color, this flower, and look at the deep center, like this really where everything is springing from the center. And then, of course, you have the beautiful stars illuminating it. So this image epitomizes for me this coming full circle, this radiance. And think again of plants of springtime, northern hemisphere. It's fall in the southern hemisphere. But each time when the plants go dormant, they have everything they need. Their sustenance, their survival, everything is innate and contained within them. Welcome, Olivia. And then in springtime, the grass grows, the flowers regenerate and bloom again. So they come full circle. They make their revolution around the seasonal moment. And this is what's happening. So this is our main theme, coming full circle, ready to advance. And it's with Hexagram 57. Here it is. And it's known as penetration, permeate. So it's to allow this wisdom, this knowledge, this truth about we're coming full circle. We've made this revolution. And again, Pluto in Aquarius, not since the French and American revolutions, a revolution of time. So it means both the advancement of things and a cyclical time frame, this revolution. And so we're going to work with Hexagram 57 today about penetration, permeate, and how the beauty in this is that oftentimes humans think, it's all on us. We have to do everything, which is a mental construct, as opposed to, again, the harmony and the balance of what's mental and what's internal knowing. What's our soul source connection? What's our soul operating plan? What's our original intelligence? Not artificial, original. And so here we come into this. So let's look at some of the, yes, Olivia's saying, I sure need the message of full circle. Because again, everything that you have been, everything that we have been, has been purposeful. It will always serve a point. Even the harshest, most dark, negative aspects of our humanity, of our existence, as painful as it is purposeful. It's what we do with it. Remember the wisdom, the pearl, the oyster. Without an irritant, without a grain of sand, a little piece of plastic or garbage or something that permeates, penetrates the oyster, there is no pearl. Without the irritant, there is no pearl. There has to be some form of an irritant, a grain of sand, a little piece of plastic, trash, something that permeates, that then births this beautiful wisdom, this pearl, and this gem that we treasure. And so as we walk this moment of revolution and transition and transformation and coming full circle, it's the choices we make in this moment. It is, what do we do with the Pluto elements that are being brought up for us to see individually and collectively, so as to release them, purify, cleanse, let go. And we've talked about old stories, scripts, things of that nature that we have told ourselves or that we're trying to live up to. And those are all irritants, grains of sand that are meant to transform you. We're meant to transcend the lesson, not become it. So this is your moment, coming full circle. This is your revolution moment. This is your release moment. This is your letting go moment. Because we're ready to advance. You're ready to advance. That's where we are with this. So let's look. I want to go to the astro influences first. So up on the screen, because, and what you see is unexpected offers, unexpected advance. So on 5/5, on May 5th, we had the full flower moon lunar eclipse at 14 degrees Scorpio. Yesterday, very powerful yesterday, we had the sun together with, conjunct, Uranus. So life force, sun, Uranus, higher mind, collective higher mind. Mercury is our literal minds, the way we think, communicate, and so forth. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. And Uranus at 18 degrees Taurus, they came together. Well, so imagine higher mind, and Uranus is expect the unexpected. It comes out of the blue. It comes out of the left field. It's the tower in the tarot. It can be, and it's always divine and neutral, but the tower can be, you've meant to let go of something. You're just holding on. You're just being stagnant, stubborn, not going as guided. You're not listening to your internal GPS. You're letting your mind, ego, mind, personality rule the day. And this sun conjunct Uranus can come along and just go, bam. We call it a cosmic 2x4. I don't recommend those. When you hear, when you know, when you feel it, go as guided. Do not let your ego, mind, personality override your knowing, your intuition, your GPS, your true north GPS. Because again, when we're flowing with it, the more advanced we become and the advancement accelerates. So we have the sun conjunct Uranus yesterday in an earth sign, Taurus. And then we also have and on the 14th, this coming Sunday, Mercury stations direct, 5 degrees Taurus. So there's a lot of activity in Taurus. There's a lot of activity in this earth, which means it's going to be tangible. Pluto is going to retrograde. It's stationed retrograde. And it's going to regress back into Capricorn, another earth sign, before it officially finally moves forward again, and it enters Aquarius on the 21st of January next year, but that will be where it stays for 20 years. The point of this astrological influences and this coming full circle, ready to advance, this penetration, permeate, it's about unexpected events, unexpected offers, unexpected advance. So where you are ready, where you've cleaned house, you're just taking all the steps to advance, to move yourself forward. Something unexpected. It can come in the way of help that you've needed, or an unexpected offer, or, hey, have you ever thought about living here? We need someone for, or as a company or a government, this advance in terms of how we address, how we look at life, humanity, city, states, governments, countries, institutions. Because again, remember, arc of destiny is forward. So this is all about how will we revolutionize, how will we improve things for the whole of the whole, for the whole of humanity. This isn't about how do I help myself. Yes, that's a part of it. But this time around, this revolution, this coming full circle, ends this moment of kind of, so they're saying to me like self-governance, self-inflicted wounds, put a self in front of it. Now it's about service. Now it's about spirit and service. Now it's about how and what and why. What I offer, why I offer it, how I offer it, how I show up. How will that impact and benefit the collective? Age of Aquarius, the collective. We the people. We the people is a collective. It's a unity collection of which we are. So I always use the analogy of for souls and so forth, like a ponytail. Each strand of hair within the ponytail comprises the whole. That's what this is talking about. So now we the people, each is a strand of hair, each is a strand within the greater whole of the ponytail. And so how will you reinvent, revitalize, renew, reimagine yourself with this understanding that when you do that and how you do that will impact the greater whole of humanity? It's always been true. That's always been true. Remember, the ideal becomes the new reality. Well, it's always been a fact that that's true. Our actions and what we do impacts the whole. We're all connected and it's a ripple. Now it takes on greater presence, preeminence. It's front and center. It's no longer in the shadows. It's no longer climbing to get to the ideal of something. The ideal becomes the new reality. It's at the forefront. So as you do this, don't become overwhelmed with the how. How is upstairs. Just listen and show up. Listen and make green choices, good choices. Do the necessary, take each necessary step that you're able to right in the present moment. And it's Wallace D. Wattles, great steps, small steps in great ways. It's that true knowing that each quote unquote little step builds crescendos to the whole. And that's where we are with this. And so again, astro influence, just bring it up really quickly again. unexpected offers, unexpected advance. It's what is unexpected. And we're in, the eclipses, they run for a good 6 months. This Sun conjunct Uranus, it's an annual event. It's very powerful right now, and it will start to wane, and then Mercury goes direct. So there's all this advance. And they said, the first thing they said with this was the joy that comes from completing your tasks. Job well done! Exclamation points. So there's this joy that comes from completing your tasks. And I keep seeing for all of us, this whole of, and you can put it in the micro, each individual thing. Were you working on a project? Did you spring clean? Are you in the process of doing that? Whatever it may be, purging, donating, selling, releasing things, all of those, the joy that comes from completing your tasks. But it's also the image of, they're showing me of climbing the mountain. This whole thing of climbing, we're so focused on climbing this mountain, reaching a destination that we all desire within, this greater state of being, this greater joy, opportunity, existence. And so we're so focused, and they're saying the joy that comes from completing your tasks. And it's as if they're asking for us to realize that we are standing at the summit of the mountain. We are there. And it's so foreign to us, right? It's so foreign to us because for millennia, we've been focused on the climb. Tower of Babel. Remember, they built the Tower of Babel to return to heaven. And thus, the unseen said, let us scatter them. Let us confuse their tongue. Let us scatter them, because they're just trying to come immediately back to us. And that's not the point of this. That's not the point of the existence of heaven on earth, humanity, this great offering, experiment of humanity, of the divine incarnated. And so, millennia, we've been focused on climbing back up the mountain, getting to the peak, only to realize that we don't realize that we're there. We're at the apex moment. And what comes next is completely new, completely foreign to us, completely unknown. Uranus, Sun and Uranus together. Expect the unexpected. Because we've never been there before. We've never, in this lifetime, certainly, we have never been at the apex moment of this transition, this change, this revolution. Revolution is in advancement, how literally those quantum leaps forward, and revolution as in time, this changing from Pisces to Aquarius, from the fish to the water bearer. That's an apex moment, and we've never been there before. And so here we are. So they said the joy that comes from completing your tasks, job well done. And remember, sometimes we're just slogging and climbing and clawing, and it looks like we're sliding backwards. It looks like we're falling, like we're just tumbling back down the mountain. No, that's just little pieces, little missteps, little things where, when you step, if you're ever out hiking and climbing, stuff like that, and you step, and every once in a while, when you step, it releases some of the smaller aspects, pebbles and earth and so forth, and they go, and they cascade down, below your step. But you're climbing. Your momentum is forward, upward, a higher octave of yourself, a higher octave in elevation. Yes, every once in a while, you might slide down, miss, and okay, but then you don't turn around and say, oh, well, I slid and off down, and we go to, back down the entire mountain. No, you stabilize for a second, and then you continue on. That's what this is. That's what this moment is, along with bringing up all of the stuff. The second thing they said is sense of arrival. So we're going to have this sense that you have arrived. There's a sense of an arrival. There's a sense of next steps. And they said, so this sense of arrival and the next steps, shimmering with excellence excitement, and success. So there's an excitement to this. There's an element of excitement. There's an aspect of excellence. Like, I can look back and see where I've been and say, ooh, I can see that I have come full circle. I can see that I'm no longer who I was. And pick a time frame. A day ago, a month ago, a year ago, a decade ago. Whatever the barometer is for you, look to see and recognize this sense of arrival, this sense of next steps, and the joy, the excitement, this shimmering of excellence, excitement, and success. Because remember, you're standing at the apex, you're standing at the summit. Wherever you are, this is your apex moment, is what they're saying to us. Some may be at the absolute peak of the mountain. Some may be at a ridge point just slightly down from it. Whatever that vista is, whatever that apex vista peak moment is, that's where we are. That's where you are. And they're saying to you, it comes with excellence, it comes with excitement, it comes with success. It's built in. Third thing they said was proverbial pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And then they said the wanderer. So again, hexagram 57 is penetration, permeate. They come in pairs. So 56 and 57 go together. And 56 is the wanderer. And the wanderer is our soul's journey. We are all wanderers. Anytime we take on a new aspect in life, it can be a relationship, a friendship, a love interest, a job, a relocation, a loss, a death, whatever it may be, in whatever form it comes in, that is an aspect of us experiencing the soul as the wanderer, as the guest. And then it comes with this penetration, permeate, and how it means there's always an unseen hand. There's a quote. Let me just give it to you really quickly here. They said, something very profound is also committed to your success. So again, remember, your soul, something very profound, is also committed to your success. The unseen, spirit, source, symphony, your soul is committed to your success. And here they're talking about this next steps, the sense of arrival, the next steps are shimmering with excellence, excitement, and success. Because they too know we've come full circle. The revolution of time, the revolution of advancement is upon us. It's here. And we're living it. We are experiencing it right now. Let me know. Put in the comments how this is all resonating with you. Lastly, they said melancholy no longer. And melancholy is to be sad or pensive, and so frustrated. And it's number 4, it's foundational. They're saying melancholy no longer. Pure joy, success, adoration. And it really is, as Kelly Marie just put up there, yes, next level. It is next level. It is that completing. We're going back to where we began, but an octave higher. Well, back to where we began. So think about it in the mountain analogy. Typically, you start off at the base, unless you're being dropped on, like perhaps Tom Cruise in some action movie, and you're being dropped onto the peak of the summit of the mountain. We all begin at the base of the mountain. And we climb, and we climb, and we climb until we reach the peak. Standing in the hotel room, in the suite that I had, this beautiful room, I was in a reverse view. It was like standing at the peak of the mountain, standing in that room, looking out at Mount Shasta. It was a reverse view. And it was one of the coolest, joyful, happy, exciting, simple events, but it was extraordinary. Because typically you're down at street level, you're on the sidewalk, you're looking at the buildings from the outside, and you're looking at the mountain and the scenery and everything. Rarely are you standing then on a second story, inside a second story structure, looking out at the reverse view of something. And I can't, I hope you can see and hear in my voice and see on my face the joy that brought. And then again, coupled with the realization of this, they didn't tear the building down. They reinvented it. They revitalized it. They reimagined it. They kept the best of the best and then added the beauty of the elements of the new that when combined was sheer magic. Absolute sheer joy, magic, prosperity, abundance. You felt so lucky. You so lucky to be in there, in that space, and that they had done this. There was something, it's just so magical. And that is what is occurring with us. It will take us from where we are. It will reinvent us, reimagine us, repurpose us. And as you can see, we have a choice in the matter. We have a choice in the matter to make green choices, to go as guided, to go along, to advance. Or we can make red choices where we're cleaving, we're trying to hang on. Because if we've never been at the peak of the mountain, we don't know what's on the other side. We've never been there. We've never had the experience, right? And there are those that don't want you to. They want you to stay stuck climbing the mountain, enslaved in the climb, enslaved in the illusion that you can never reach the peak. You will never know what's on the other side of it. You can't have it. Because their fear is greater than yours. We have a choice. So our fear, remember, fear is your friend. Fear is energy. It's either going to catapult you forward, you're going to use it, you're going to harness the power and the energy of fear to propel you forward, or you're going to utilize it to immobilize you, to keep you stagnant and still. And the only reason you're going to use that latter option is because your fear is so great of the unknown. But fear is your friend. And this advancement is going to happen regardless. So again, golden tickets, let's just bring up, remember, it's the magic of a 7-year. It's all about the foundation of God's word. It's divine fulfillment, divine completion. We're coming full circle. Divine perfection. It's both that, and it's whether or not you believe. Look, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Golden ticket. New adventure awaits. Do you have a golden ticket? That's a personal, innate, individual question and answer. And once you say, yes, I've got a golden ticket. Yes, new adventure awaits. Yes, it is a 7-year. This is a completion. This is a coming full circle moment. There, I am at the peak. I am at the summit. Take in the vistas. See what's going on. Take stock, so to speak. Give yourself permission to celebrate where you are. We forget to do this. We forget to, pat ourselves on the back, pat each other on the back. Say, hey, look how far you've come. Look how far I've come. Acknowledge it. Celebrate it. Sheer joy. The joy that comes from completing your tasks. Because we're ready to advance. We're ready to move forward. And these are these pinnacle moments. So let me just jump into some of your comments. Got to put my specs on. So Kelly is saying, yes, next level, wanderer, profound. Yes, when we find ourselves, when we realize that we're the wanderer. We know this when we take a trip. If for anyone who's traveled to an area different than our own, and certainly foreign countries, different cultures, you recognize both the humility required, the softness, the gentleness, the humility, and yet this sense of awe and wonder and advancement and excitement, because you're going to experience something new. They go hand in hand. And so when we realize we're the wanderer in all of this, it's very powerful. She's also saying pure joy. Olivia is saying, you have no idea how this resonates with me, even with words and something I did not create back in 1996. Nothing came of it except I finished a project and was so happy to have done that, but seemed to be waiting for the finish of that. Yeah, see again. So remember again, Saturn has moved back into Pisces, that 93 to 98 period. We're doing it again, but on steroids. I mean, but advancing, not doing it again. It's not an exact duplication. It's an advancement. And this time around, that higher octave of it, we the people, this Aquarian element. And it's interesting because the world card, Saturn is associated with the world card. And this whole thing, they gave me that. I'm just going to bring it in at this moment right now, because it was this awareness of, they said number 5, you've climbed the mountain. Now enjoy the vista, the moment, before it changes once again. So they're reminding us, and this with Olivia's comment, they're reminding us that we've climbed the mountain. Enjoy it. Enjoy this moment, the vista, the moment, before it changes once again. Because again, what happens? We're going to take in the summit. We're going to take in the vista. They're reminding me years ago, I went to the Statue of Liberty. You are literally in this very tight spiral staircase, up, 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 up. And then all of a sudden you hit the crown, the platform, where you get to look out and see this. And in order to keep the lines moving, it's not like some big spacious room where you get to hang out and step back forward and look through no. It's kind of like, okay, you've got this moment of time to look through the slit windows in the crown, and oh my gosh, and then you're on the descent. You're back, you're moving again. It's like that. Life is constantly changing. It is constantly moving. It is constantly advancing. And so it is to take in the moments as we have them. That's why we have that moment sometimes, like you wish you could just stop time at some points. There are moments in your life where you just want to stop and hold the moment. And yet it's fleeting. You can't. It's a fleeting aspect because, again, we're advancing. We're moving forward. So, and then they gave us the world card. And the world card here with this, they said the world card represents an ending to a cycle of life, a pause in life before the next big cycle, beginning with the Fool. So it's before we again become renewed, revitalized, reinvented, reinterpreted, put the re in front of it. It is an indicator of a major and, this word is always so hard, inexorable change of tectonic breath. Big changes, revolutionizing change. It's going to be like that, and we're going to feel it. We're going to feel it in ourselves. And again, the green choices. Keep stepping. Keep taking every step you can in every moment. If it's a negative thought, change it. Stop and change it. If it's an old story, an old script, stop and change it. Let it go. Release it. Replace it with something. Here's this, and this will be in the show thread after. Here's that beautiful image coming full circle, ready to advance. Use that, because with the world card, it's tectonic change. And in its upright position, which it is, they said achievement, fulfillment, possibilities, successful conclusions. It's an earth element. It's ruled by Saturn. And if you've been watching from the top of the hour with the show, this word success, 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 they keep saying it to us. It's built in. It's assured. And our mantra for this week is, my potential knows no bounds. It's on a beautiful gold image. I chose that image. I chose it. They gave it to me on Sunday before I left. And then this morning I sat down and wrote, and they said the proverbial pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Here's the gold background, the golden ticket. My potential knows no bounds. That's our mantra. That is because you've reached the peak. We've reached it. We've reached the peak, the pinnacle, the peak moment of the Piscean era, the patriarchal rule. We've reached it. And now begins the beauty of everything that's on offer on the Aquarian age, this golden age, this age of advancement, this period, this point and period in time where we return to a higher octave of ourselves. We return to a greater balance and harmony, a greater unity. Again, current world stage, just keep thinking a climber, steps and pebbles fall, or it may shift a boulder here, a rock there, soil that cascades down. But it cascades down. It doesn't projectile up. It doesn't block us. It doesn't impede our way. It doesn't impede our discovery. It falls behind us, below us. And that's where so we have the beauty of the world card and also this wheel of fortune, because the wheel of fortune goes with the success of things. And, they always say, if you like the way something is right now, enjoy it, because it's going to change. If you don't like where you are or what's happening, don't fret. Enjoy the present moment, because it's going to change. Because the wheel is ever moving. It's ever advancing and changing. Kelly Marie is saying, connecting naturally. Ava, hello from Denmark. Welcome, Ava. And Kelly Marie is saying, where do you go when you're on the mountain? Up, up, up. Right. You continue up. It is our potential. Exactly. It's vast. It's unlimited. It's unimpeded. And we continue to advance up. We take in the vista of the moment. And then we open ourselves to the beauty, the flower behind me, the flower in the main theme, the coming full circle. We open ourselves to the renewal of the moment, to the renewal of the season. Because that is the cycle. That is where we are. It is the Wheel of Fortune. It is the world card. It is these things. So this is a beautiful quote. And it talks about humankind has not woven the web of life. We are but one thread within it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. So remember, this is from Chief Seattle. It's this beautiful, and I used a dream catcher imagery and the rainbow colors and everything, because it epitomizes that. Remember this ponytail aspect and everything. Humankind has not woven the web of life. We are but one thread within it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. So again, we have this opportunity here in coming full circle to reinvent, to begin anew, reimagine. You can stay stuck. If you want to continue to say this is who I am and use the old labels and titles and trappings and so forth, it's what the unseen said to me in my before I began Dearjames. They said, look, you are meant to go this way. If you want to stay here for the next decade and bang your head against the walls, the proverbial wall, so to speak, free will, knock yourself out. However, your soul said it would go this way. You're meant to show up. And that meant releasing all identities, everything that I had known before, to become the Fool. It's the world card. Because after the world card is the 22nd in the major arcana of the tarot. It's the last card in the major arcana. Before it cycles back, it returns, it completes, coming full circle, you go back to the Fool as the 0 card. And they basically said you forget about all of this, you let it all go, and you go that way. Now, if you're not ready, if you don't want to, okay, free will. However, you're only going to delay you from getting to you. You're going to delay you from arriving and receiving and experiencing this shimmering excellence, excitement, and success of the newest iteration of you, the newest journey and the stops along the way of your soul's journey, the wanderer, the path. So again, it's up to you. There's no one, cosmic 2x4s, there can be Sun and Uranus together and wham, if you're not doing it. But they're also saying, okay, and yet if you're not ready, you're not ready, or however, at some point in time, the elements will converge to move you forward, to advance you. And again, you can see how those that are making red choices, they're trying to cleave to an old way. They don't want the advance of something. They are advancing in the experience of that fear. It becomes louder and greater. Their choices, their red choices, become louder and greater. So in that understanding, they too are advancing. They're just advancing in a way that is, the way it comes to me, is harmful. It's harmful for themselves, and it's harmful in the ripple, in the effect of everyone having to experience it. However, again, what you want to remember, both in the mantra here, my potential knows no bounds. However, it's also that combined with coming full circle, ready to advance. No one's, as much as there was a point in time where life seemed easier, more clear, more, there was a sweet spot to it where everybody, I don't know about all of you, you can put in the comments, but there was a sweet spot. There's a memory. There's a nostalgia of like, you know what, from here to here, or this time, life was just, we understood it. It made sense. Things seemed to be fine, even though there was a, challenge and upheaval, but it wasn't Crazyville. However, again, when you're changing signs, when we're making this major quantum change from patriarchal to matriarchal, Piscean to Aquarian, these advances, 246 years, this advance, and the Piscean era is 2,000 plus years. So you have these major moments. It generates both excitement and fear. It's just, again, how are we using them? So be mindful of how you're using fear, the energy of fear, because it's either going to propel you or it's going to immobilize you. So I'm just looking here, and let me bring up one last quote before we jump in here. It's like, when the oak is felled, the whole forest echoes with its fall, but 100 acorns are sown in silence by an unnoticed breeze. Now think about that. 100 acorns are sown in the silence by an unnoticed breeze. This is a quote by Thomas Carlyle. Well, recognize, see that something very profound is also committed to your success. It's the unseen. It's spirit, source, and symphony. Angels, archangels, ascended masters, other family members, other soul connections that haven't incarnated this time, all present, all there. This unseen, it's a 7-year, legions, army, correct discipline. They're all present, just as we are here. And they walk with us hand in hand. We must give them permission to act with us, for us, with us. It's by invitation only. It's by permission only. They cannot intercede. And yet the soul, and so soul to soul, so humans, soul to soul, incarnate, soul to soul, discarnate energy. Something very profound is also committed to your success. And so that is also committed. It's to say to you, don't think it's just all on you. Don't let it be a mental construct. Ego, mind, personality. Oh, it's all on me. There's no help. There's no assistance. I'm all alone. That's all monkey mind chatter. The minute you say something very profound is also committed, the acorns are sown in silence by an unnoticed breeze. It's reminding us of what's unseen that's working on our behalf, with us, for us, and to engage that, to be open to see it, so as to nourish, so as to provide what we need in the moment. So hexagram 57, this penetration, permeate. Its hidden influence is opposition, and to accommodate. Not accommodate the opposition, but to accommodate, meaning to recognize there's opposition and to make allowances within ourselves to see through the illusion, to see it, to know the truth, which is we advance. Its underlining cause, 51, shocking, arouse. Here we are with that the Tower card, that 51, the cosmic 2x4. But it can be, the shock can be something completely joyful, like, oh my God, I've been wanting so much for X, Y, and Z to happen. And out of nowhere, Sun Uranus conjunct, the eclipse period, Pluto and Aquarius period, these major changes, boom, out of nowhere, here it is. And immediately with it, the joy, excitement, the exhilaration, everything, and the fear, right? Oh gosh, I've been waiting for that. I've wanted that for so long. And then what's required? Small acts in great ways. Take that step. Here it is. You've been asking for it. It is that coming full circle, that shock, that world card happening. Kelly Maria saying, James, we are where we need to be. Exactly. In every given moment, perfect and evolving. In every given moment. So here with hexagram 57, it talks about there's gentleness and enormous power associated with the hexagram of penetration. Like the wind blowing over vast periods of time against a mountain, the smallest influence, when applied with a steadfast attitude, can break down any barrier. The idea of looking more deeply at a situation in order to understand its less obvious dynamics is also at play. Look through the illusion. And the illusion can be very personal. It can be a thought, a label, an identity, these stories, scripts we've told ourselves. It can be the illusion of we're sliding backwards. We're going back to, the caveman time and, all this stuff. It's an illusion. It's to show us, its true purpose is to show us the Pluto, the underbelly, the underworld side of something, an aspect, so we can decide what to do with it in the light of day. Whether you or someone else has established barriers as protection from intimacy, constancy, and demonstrating trustworthy behavior can eliminate them. This is so true. It's easy to understand that from an external position, interactions with others. It also applies with yourself. So if you have built up walls and you've compartmentalized and boxed yourself in to keep yourself safe. See, I'm keeping ego, mind, personality. I'm keeping myself safe by doing this. The beauty here is to say constancy and demonstrating trustworthy behavior with yourself. The soul leading. We've got to come to trust the soul. We've got to come to trust our soul source connection, our intuition, our knowing. We've got to come to really validate and trust that. So this constancy and this demonstrating trustworthy behavior can eliminate the ego, mind, personality chatter that's kept us frozen, blocked in, hemmed in, because we're no longer that. We're done. We're done. Done with it. So it's how we move through with that. After the hexagram is about reaching an apex and then moving like a wanderer into the unknown, because again, we're hitting the apex, and then everything that comes after even the apex, it's all unknown. We haven't been there before. And then everything new opens up before us. Penetration, so it's like a wanderer into the unknown. Penetration is a message about constant and gentle action and is often referred to as the homecoming. This coming full circle, this homecoming, this revolution. In some ways, we need not assert anything because there are other forces acting in conjunction with our efforts to bring us to a sense of arrival, to this sense of a new purpose, a new beginning, a new you, me, us, we. The extended time period suggested by penetration is like hexagram 5, waiting, and hexagram 32, duration, which all require great patience for reflection and the power to influence in a permeating way, in a lasting way. It's got to penetrate and permeate in the most beautiful way. Because again, we're advancing. The hidden influence of opposition can show the barrier you are faced with, and the message suggests that you become more accommodating. The underlying cause, shocking, showed the opposite behavior where events are jarred suddenly from stagnation. So we can see both of these, right? There's this being more accommodating, patience, allowing, being nourished while waiting, and the jar, the shock and the jar of being moved from this stagnation or from what was not seen. It was unseen. This is not the case in this situation, and you are being called to become gently persevering. Like Sita in the Indian myth of Ramayana, she was captured and forced through many trials to prove her loyalty to Rama. In this situation, you may feel tested to prove your loyalty over an extended period of time. This hexagram is formed by the trigram of wind over the wind. So the message of slow and dedicated effort is doubled. After a period of uncertainty and wandering, this hexagram can show a homecoming. So this is talking to us about the fact that we have had to, like Sita in the Indian myth of Ramayana, captured, enslaved, and forced through many trials to prove her loyalty to Rama. Well, in this sense, we're proving our loyalties. We're proving to ourselves. It's not an external proof. It's a soul source proof. It's a soul source perseverance. It's a soul source penetration, permeating, to lead with your soul, to connect with your original intelligence, not artificial intelligence. Original intelligence is your innate knowing. You can get an entire picture, an entire understanding in a flash, in an instant. Artificial, it's got to be read out. It's got to be, and yes, it might automate things, right? Oh, it's done all of these tasks in a flash. But it still had to be told to do it. Somebody still had to program that, to tell it to do that. Well, there's no one programming. It just comes in. Boom, there it is. And it will always, at least in my personal experience, the unseen, it's so incredible in its detail, in its expanse. You're knowing that flash that you can know, and it just boom. That you literally stop and think. It's a mental construct where you say, what force, what ability just did that? Just laid out all of these things where you have no former knowledge. It's not an area of expertise for you. It's not something you've done, for 20 years of your life, and thereby it's robotic because it's practiced. It's in an instant, and it comes through you. So there's this beauty of this moment to tie this all back together, this permeating and this penetration, this coming full circle. It's to remember the job well done. It's to remember the joy that comes from completing your tasks. It is that sense of awe and wonder of what comes next. And it's about the success that's built into it, because that word has permeated this hour with us from multiple different things. And that's not me. That's not Dearjames putting this forth. That's me listening and piecing together the elements. And then you see the proverbial pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You see what's interwoven by the unseen that's in it. And they're saying to us, success. Success is assured. Success is a part of this. Joy is a part of this. Shimmering excellence and excitement is a part of this. How quickly, arms wide open, how quickly do we embrace that truth? How quickly do we lay down all the other elements They were purposeful, as Kelly Marie, we're right where she added. We're right where we need to be. Yes. It was all purposeful. And you get to decide when is something no longer purposeful, beneficial. When have you advanced? Having come full circle, where you lay something down or things down, people, places, things, where you lay them down. Namaste, I bow to the divine in you. I thank you. I release you. And I make space for all of the new. And as Kelly Marie just added, our soul family, full circle. Yes, remember, everyone, even the way they're saying this to me is even the devil is a part of the whole. So the ripple, the new, is to see through the illusion of something. And remember that it's all a part of the whole of the whole. It's all a part of that. How will it, because we're coming in together, there's an unseen force, there's that unseen assistance. Something very profound is also committed to your success. Well, how is that working on our behalf? Might I step up to the plate and work with it? It's a choice. So we've got to be proactive. We've got to respond, not react. We've got to be proactive and respond. These elements will advance us, and we will then work with and meet the unseen that's working on our behalf, so as to advance individually and collectively, we the people. Because advance we will. We have come full circle. So I thank you all so very, very much for your time, your beauty, your souls, your comments. It gives me great joy to do this each week, because I know, we're in this together, and to see how it culminates from around the globe with all of you from around the globe, and how we are strands in that ponytail. We are each a piece of it, and how powerful it is when we all advance and we permeate and we penetrate the illusions of things, and we release the old and we move forward, and we're able to ripple that out and share that. And that's powerful, powerful, powerful. So love you all. Thank you very much for being here each week. And I will see you next week. It's going to be 5/17. So look forward to seeing you all there. Until then, be well and be gentle and celebrate and acknowledge yourselves. Job well done.